3, 2, 1.
How's it going, everyone? This is DJ Aceman along with the legendary Life of Big Don. And we also have a special guest today, Mike. He's going to be joining us as well right here, right now. This is the Peace and Chaos program. Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing?
We are hanging in there, kid. It's been a pretty busy week. It got a little busy to the end, especially with the deaths of both Prince Philip, who we originally talked about on the show, and of course the death of rapper DMX.
Yeah, and I just got through 10 days straight of midterm assignments and exams. So I'm finally feeling a lot less weight on my shoulders. So doing pretty well.
Not bad. Yes, this week we did see the passing of two pretty big figures, Prince Philip, big figure in the royal family, and also rapper DMX, who was a very iconic rapper who we lost this week. But it's good to hear that both of you are doing well. Just a reminder for the viewers, you can always find us on social media, Peace and Chaos P1 on Twitter. That's Peace and Chaos P1 on Twitter. And just to let everyone know, we did just put up a video yesterday. It is our GeoGuessr edition 2. You can go check that out on YouTube, and also go check us out on Instagram right here, Peace and Chaos _podcast. That is Peace and Chaos _podcast. You can go check out all the news and our announcements on there as well, so you can never miss a beat. All right, everyone, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today, including the border crisis, vaccines, and also we're going to be giving you an update on the Matt Gaetz problem going on with him. But let's first talk about one of the main things that's going on right now, and that is with immigration. As a lot of you may know, we have seen a big spike in immigration, immigrants crossing the border, the southern border, over the past 2-3 months now under the new Biden administration. And a lot of skeptics have been calling this out, claiming that we need to do more for border security and that there needs to be more done by the new administration. And just a big statistic right then and there is almost 19,000 migrant children stopped at the US border in March. That's the most ever in a month. It's not looking good. As you can see, there are border facilities like this one right here in the picture in Donna, Texas. And you can see the migrants all in cubicles and cages, similar to what we saw in the previous administration. But I want to pass it over to you two first, Big Don, and also to Mike. I want to hear what your thoughts are, anything that you think needs to be addressed with this. Just your initial thoughts first, Big Don, and then we'll go to you, Mike.
All right, so this has been immigration in general as a policy is extremely hard to master, because first thing you're taking into account is domestic policy and international policy, which the United States has agreed to various laws set by the UN, but now they have their own immigration policy, and those don't really seem to be going well together. Like, for example, I think the UN has condemned the use of migrant camps. A lot of politicians are calling them, or even comparing them to concentration camps, because they meet the definition of that. I wouldn't go that far, because first of all, it's unfair to compare anything to anything remotely close to a concentration camp. But as you can see from these pictures right here, they're getting some inhumane treatment. I mean, they're getting like those electric blankets you see. They're all just crowded together, and of course during COVID, we don't want that. So this has been a problem throughout the past, I think this kind of started with Obama. He was the one that set up the camps, and then Trump and Biden sort of continued them on. So it's a question in terms of immigration in general. My general perspective of it is I think there needs to be a good amount of immigration reform. What that may look like is going to be hard to tell, because it's very partisan, even amongst Democrats, because Biden seems to have a pretty hard stance on immigration. Obama had a pretty hard stance on immigration. We didn't allow as many immigrants under his administration. There are some politicians out there that saying, look, we want open borders. Of course, I think immigrants should have the right to come here. It's just that the process needs to become more efficient. And that's what we're going to be discussing today on this show. So, Mike, I'll pass it over to you. What are your general thoughts of what's going on?
Well, first, I should have said this when we first started. I just want to thank the both of you for having me on. Look, this is honestly definitely the top biggest crisis and catastrophe under Biden's administration so far. And he's only been the president just going on 3 months now. Coming in 10 days will be 3 months he's been the president. So I didn't even know it got up to 19,000 because I've just been so busy with school. I haven't had a chance to look into politics. Last I checked was 15,000. So most ever in a month. That's just insane. But I mean, it just also just seeing the photos of the conditions of these 19,000 children being forced and crammed to live in these U.S. detention center on floor mats and plastic shrouded rooms and not having any kind of parental guardian or with them is just absolutely insane. And this is also a good time to take a look back at Biden's campaign discussing their border security policies, which specifically states surge asylum officers to efficiently review the cases of recent border crossers and keep cases with positive, credible fear findings with the asylum division. Address the root causes of migration by fostering greater security, economic development, and respect for the law, the respect for the rule of law in Central America. And what this looks like to me, this is definitely not a detention center. It looks like they're in some type of concentration camp in a very small way. And an asylum would have beds for these kids to sleep on, but they're sleeping on floor mats.
They're sleeping on each other.
I know that's just insane, especially during this pandemic. And God knows how many of these kids have been vaccinated. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. It's there's so much words that can just be to describe this kind of catastrophe, Now,
I did send you guys a link in the Zoom chat here. It's from the Customs and Border Patrol. It documents the recent surge in immigration. Back in March, when this was starting to be reported, I think the Washington Post covered this. They labeled it as seasonal, but the graph was recently updated, and it looks like immigration has surged a bit during the past couple of weeks. Now, I think a lot of it can be explained. I'll go more into it once PJ pulls it up. Okay,
there you go, right here.
Okay, so let's focus on the graph here. So let's go to the line graph here, because I think that's the most important one. So as you can see here, I mean, the blue line right here is supposed to represent the current year, and I think the orange line is 2019 because I would assume because the U.S. has closed their borders during COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at a seasonal trend here, but we notice a huge spike here along the month of February to March right here. It looks like it's going to be heading into April of migrant surge. Now, this isn't as much as compared to 2019 under the Trump administration, but still a lot of immigration wave coming. There's still a giant immigration wave coming in. And then it's going to become a question of what the policies are going to be looking like once we get into the summer when it's supposed to peak right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we brought Mike on. We're going to throw around some ideas. I know Mike is a pretty conservative person himself. He's done some research on the wall. We might do a debate on this in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. But Mike, I want to get your general thoughts on sort of how would you handle this crisis going on right now?
I mean, honestly, there's so many different ideas and ways that you can think of when it comes to this. But I mean, honestly, I kind of thought that, having the border wall was, even though it wasn't anywhere close to being finished, it was only halfway finished, because building a wall is on a border that takes years of work, over 5 years. So obviously the wall would have been finished if Trump won the election, but that's not the case here. But I mean, here's what I will say about walls in general. So basically all I have to say is, there is, walls have been proven notably to be effective, when it comes to tamping down violence. They used to have walls for in Iraq and in the wars and stuff. But the fact is, rather if you use a wall or some kind of border security, there will still be a chance that it will succeed curbing illegal immigration. But obviously under Biden's campaign and presidency, it's just been going the complete opposite. But at this point, this isn't about what Trump did during his presidency or what Biden did back as the vice president. This is about how issues in crisis at the security border have been rising almost every day since Biden signed to have the wall taken down. But I think that's just, one issue that's piling up to another. So now, obviously, I'm not going to say, oh, they should build the wall back. That would be the day pigs fly that Democrats actually agree to continue to build the wall.
I mean, Trump get reelected.
That's one. But number two, I do believe that there are other ways to stop immigration, because a wall can only do so much. The wall, could have helped with illegal immigration, but there's still other stuff that can go into it, like drug smuggling, because I actually did read a report that drug smugglers have been using tunnels digging underneath the border to get drugs into the United States ever since Mexico's most famous drug trafficker, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman from the cartel, pioneered the method in 1989. And the tunnel can be deep as 70 feet below the wall. So, yes, walls are more of a tactic more than a strategy, like any other kind of security border. And it can only do as much as illegal immigrants. But with this chart that you showed me, it clearly shows how the months of having a half-built wall definitely did more of an impact than these new security policies that Biden has.
Now, I'll make a note of this, and then and then PJ, I'll give you your thoughts in a minute. But I think in terms of the wall, you have to make a correction there. There's only about 4,000 miles of like new construction to existing borders, and then 89 miles of new wall built. I can provide you a source if you want to. I think I actually showed you the source back then. But I think that is the case. I'm not sure how long if I were to Google right now, how long the U.S.-Mexican border is.
Yeah, I remember you showed me it. It was only a quarter of the way built, or not even close. So I already knew that the wall wasn't officially built, because like I said, that takes years and years of work and money to build a border wall like that. I mean, for God's sakes, it took about 10 to 15 years for them to build the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, obviously it's going to take so many years. But I will say, though, even though the wall wasn't, nowhere as close to being built, the policies did play a good impact of keeping the security border, not 100% safe. I know that, because security borders can never always be 100%. You see, that's the other thing. I'm not just someone who does look at things politically. I'm also a realist. I just look at things as just take the senses that are common and look at the facts and just go with what you got. So obviously the wall, even if it was 100% built or not, obviously it wasn't going to 100% solve everything. Because like I said, I even told you guys that smuggling drugs, they can literally dig 70 feet or more underneath the border and make tunnels to run underneath through. There's so many different ways how illegal immigration will still continue. It's not about, 100% ending it, because this has been an everyday problem, no matter who the president is.
Okay. I will say this, if we want to get into sort of a good back and forth debate here. My general position on border security is, I think there are ways we can, of course we need it, because we can't have wide open borders. I mean, that would be insane. But I think in terms of solving the current crisis, I think as an administration, we need to there needs to be some change to how we let immigrants go through the process of seeking asylum and citizenship here. Now, usually how it works is you can go for a port or something. I know the UN has rules. If you are in the borders of a country, you have to declare asylum there. Of course, immigrants are being snatched up at the border and being sent to these concentration camps. So I think in terms of my view on the wall in particular, I think it's a relatively ineffective way, if I'm being quite honest with you, of stopping certain crimes that are being caused of illegal immigration. But I think it's also going to be, and also another thing to consider here is how it will affect immigration in general. Because we're going to have, if we're going to build a wall, how many ports are we going to have open for immigrants to come in? Are we going to have a very few? Are we going to have a lot? I mean, it's all going to be logistical questions. But either way, I think it's going to hurt our immigration numbers. And for the research I've seen, immigration is a net benefit to our economy, especially along the southern Mexican border.
It's a very, very great point. And it also, that's where background checks definitely play a big role in this. And that's one big thing that has always been an issue with our security border, which is something now definitely since Biden's the president, of course, that is something that they definitely need to fix, is having a much better background check. Now, how? I don't know, because I'm not an expert on this stuff, obviously, but I will say also too, the security process of, with having the wall, definitely did help with keeping the policies better, but it could have, but I will say that I will admit it should have definitely played a better role with, not making it look like a racist symbol, like making it look like, oh, we're just trying to keep everybody out. That's not what the wall was meant for. And, that's one other thing too. So, I mean, it's also crazy too, to come to think of it too, how, the White House has even refused to call this situation a crisis. And even Press Secretary Jen Psaki on I think this had to be like 3 or 4 weeks ago, she even said that the facilities that these kids are in are quote unquote not places made for children. So
yeah, it's a very, very tough issue to figure out. But I think we're in general agreement that there needs to be reform, and the treatment that these immigrants are currently receiving under the past few administrations has been very unethical in terms of humaneness. I mean, this is subject to like torture. I mean, the UN has literally condemned the United States a bunch of times for this. So yeah. So
I even remember too, I saw this oh my god, like I said, I think this was probably, I want to say this was a week and a half ago. So I was doing some homework and I went downstairs to go grab myself another beer, because sometimes you gotta have a beer while you're studying.
yeah, there you go.
So I go downstairs to grab a beer, and my mom, as always, she's watching Fox News, she's watching Hannity, and I saw that this clip of Ted Cruz down at the detention center, and there was this woman that was getting in his way of not wanting him to show what the detention centers look like now. And I think when it comes to, how treating, the immigrants and, the policies and everything, I think the way how some media channels, rather if they're left-sided or right-sided, they definitely play a take in the role of how immigration is treated here in America. And that's one problem that I hope gets solved soon, because the news channels definitely take a part of not only how the immigrants of how the immigration policies have been in this country have been crap, but also too, it also takes a part of making our country politically divided. So
yeah,
it takes a bunch of big tolls when it comes to how the news presents their channels, and how they also, I was going to say the same thing again, how they present their shows and how they present their channels and everything, with whatever feedback and opinions they have. So that's also another thing, that's another issue that can be talked about again, because I feel like if the news channels, all of them, I'm not going to say which ones, I'm just going to say all of them, try not to be so biased, which easier said than done.
Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done, actually.
Easier said than done. I know that will definitely play a big impact of helping with politics today. And who knows, maybe he'll take a part with how we treat the immigrants coming into our country.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm going on rambling, saying a few things, but
we'll move on to the main show here. But first, Liz, welcome back to the program here. She's hyping up the chat. Liz said, I'm going to go over the first comment, even though she said Prince Philip old and decrepitated. Discombobulated legend.
Yeah, legend.
Decomposing legend. I'll read the first comment here. Homie, can you tell me your political party? I think that's referring to you, Mike. you want to say it, you don't have to say it if you don't want to.
I'm registered independent, but I do have some views. Not a lot of views, just maybe a couple of views that are more right-sided, but I'm pretty much on board with the most common things that Republicans get shitted on. Excuse my language. I'm supportive of the LGBT community, of course. I'm all for having immigrants come into this country legally and so forth. So that is my political standpoint, homie.
Homie. There you go. All right, let's get to BJ. Want to turn to Alex Jones?
Yes, let's go there. Yeah, we were just talking about how the media spins things, and I think that InfoWars, I mean, a lot of people know InfoWars is, I mean, it got banned from YouTube.
Alex Jones sees no introduction.
All right, let's see if the audio.
Dude, he's literally in his tank.
Can you hear?
No, I can't.
All right.
You gotta turn your sound.
It looks frozen on my screen.
Okay.
All right, well, we're having technical difficulties here, people.
Yes.
Let's see here.
You know what? I'm gonna stop share for 1 second, people.
Yeah, and then
we're
make sure
getting
you're
this back.
share your audio there.
Yeah, we're gonna get this back. There we go. Boom. There we got it back. This should work, people. Oh.
All right, let's test this, chat. No, I still can't hear it.
Here, I'll get it this way. Let's see. This should work.
Yep.
There we go.
10 times what it was under Obama.
From the full screen.
And now it's going to get 10 times worse and 10 times worse after that. So the border is completely gone. This is the death of America.
Ban videos.
Outside McAllen, Texas, and Donna,
Oh, can you pause for a second?
Donna facility
Yeah.
is being massively expanded.
So I'll say, I'll make a quick comment here. I never saw this clip of Alex in the actual tank, but I find it very ironic when I made the thumbnail. I was telling BJ when we were making the thumbnails here that I usually do for the videos, like, we should have Alex driving a tank along the southern border, and now he's actually doing it. So
You know what's also kind of funny too? Like how Alex, like during like the whole election thing, like he was going around, like driving around, and he kind of was like this too. He's always on the move now, and he's like one of those like migrating journalists.
he is the migrating journalist.
All right, let's continue though.
Yeah. Your audio's cut out.
Yeah, I was about to say I can't hear anything.
Facility.
Yeah,
in
there it is.
Louisville. Obama started this 8 years ago, halfway into his administration. But when the Senate put out reports admitting that they were giving children to smugglers inside the U.S. and encouraging smugglers to bring children in, many of them kidnapped, even Obama had to back off the program and stop it. Then Trump got in.
Let's skip around here because
program,
we'll see if this is the right
and
video
completely shut
for
it down.
I saw going around. There's a video of Alex chasing migrant children in a they're being taken like in a van. Let's see here. Bullhorns, child trafficking.
Wait, he was chasing them?
Yeah, we get.
What?
Let's see. Oh wait, yeah, this is it. Yep, I recognize that facility. Let's go to the. Is this Alex just? Yeah, this is Alex just yelling. What the hell? He's in his tank.
He's yelling at the. That's what he does. That's what he's doing the whole time.
I'm just waiting for him to shoot a missile up in the sky or something.
Oh wait, let's see here. I think it was the human smugglers. The
that's
one on
good.
the top right there. I think that was it. I don't know. It was some. There was like some video Alex did, where it was like him chasing.
Could it
People
be
in
this
there.
one? Alex Jones goes off on security guard. Human smuggler. Oh, this one. This one's kind of recent.
No, I don't think that's the one. There was like some staff member at a Catholic facility that Jones was.
Facilitates them getting on United States.
Well, let's see here. I don't think it's.
I'll send you the surfs video that I found on this. We're gonna do a reaction video to this to Surfs reacting to Alex Jones. That's gonna be concept of Surfs.
Yeah.
Freaking Alex Jones. I'm getting all the ads.
Yikes.
So I think the premise here is that
Damn, the Surfs did not provide a link. What the hell? All right, so Alex Jones is clearly going insane here. We'll react to one of his videos right here.
All right, yeah, let's give it a go. This one here is his little take on the human smuggler with baby in cartel. This is his, this is not ours.
You'll be healthier and fund the M4 at the same time. I'm not lecturing you. I eat too much.
Oh, this is BS. Nope, we're not doing that one. I think this
Come
one.
on, here come the buses. They don't want us getting this. Let's go. Get across the street. Hey, you're running criminal activity. Don't you do your color of law with us, buddy boy. This is not private property. This is right away. And you're smuggling children. You don't try your color of law with me. Do you understand that?
Guys, I'm clearly hyped up on antibiotic monkey cream. Buy it at InfoWarsStore.com. You get 15% off if you use the word Alex.
This is why he's a walking meme.
I agree. He can't be taken seriously anymore. I mean,
just
I don't think he ever was taken serious.
All Alex Jones is doing is yelling at security guards.
Every time I hear Alex Jones yell, I just can't help but laugh because I can't take him seriously.
I know he's like I think he needs to. All right, let's see what he says.
Hello.
The United States. And now children, many of them kidnapped, it's on record, even Senate reports, are being smuggled and given to the Democratic Party. So they come across the border. They're taken here by buses by the Border Patrol that's now being ordered by Biden to engage in this crime with them, aid and abet. They then bring them to this facility for a few days, prepare them, and then, look right here come the buses. They don't want us getting this. Let's go. Get across the street. Hey, you're running criminal activity.
Oh boy,
Now he's about to go off.
he's about to go off. Honestly, he's just, whatever at this point.
Don't you do your color of law with us, buddy boy. This is not private property. This is right away. And you're smuggling children. You don't try your color of law with me. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. This is illegal. This is illegal, and you're outside your jurisdiction. You are a fraud. You're a security guard and a liar. Those are kidnapped children and families illegally being smuggled to the United States. Don't you try your security guard stuff with us.
Homie needs to chill.
Destroy this country.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say this. Alex isn't. I mean, I think a lot of this is for show. But Alex, I mean, this guy has been all over the place, man. For the past couple of years since I think he's been doing this for almost over 20 years now. The guy's been insane. I think he ramped up a lot of conspiracy, especially when it comes to QAnon stuff like that, with the child sex trafficking stuff. I think he's really ramping that thing up. But Alex Jones, if you want to ask me my general opinion on it, I think he's generally insane. There's actually, I'll show you this. Let's see if I can pull this up. Alex Jones's wife, they recently got divorced, and I think Alex Jones's wife or ex-wife has custody of their daughter. And there's a video on Twitter of Alex Jones literally in a helicopter over their house.
Well,
Can we try to look it up on Twitter?
Yeah,
wait, he went to the house in a helicopter?
Yep, he just literally flew over it.
Okay, I guess driving by late at night is not a thing anymore. For Alex
I'll
Jones.
see if I'll throw up a helicopter. I'm just throwing this. And of course, it's from the Surfs. Okay. All right, I'll throw up the original tweet right here. Tweet in the chat right here. Oh wait, yeah. There we go. Real Kelly Jones.
I'll go check it out right now.
I will say this: whenever Alex goes on Joe Rogan, it's instantly the most. It's instantly the funniest thing of all time. I will say that.
All right, here it is right here.
I just watched it. Holy crap.
See if we can full screen that. That right there.
He has leaked 3.
Out there too.
Jeez. This guy definitely has some problems.
Guy's crazy. I will say that.
Is he going to show up next time in that tank?
He better. If he shows up, he's honestly getting sued.
Oh yeah, he's going to. If
I'm
he
pretty
even
sure
like
he's gonna get sued now that he flew over in a helicopter to spy on his ex-wife and his daughter.
Alex. I mean, the guy. There's a lot you could say about the man, but overall, I think we're just gonna leave it at the fact that he's insane. Let's go back. We'll play a little bit more of the migrant of him yelling at the border security.
let's continue.
We're here to stop you. You and your boss Biden that said, rush the border, collapse this country. Our reporters were out here a few days ago. You told them they can't be here. Those are power poles. Those are right-of-ways that the taxpayers pay for. We have right to ride horses down this, to walk down this, do whatever we want right here. You're putting these barriers up right here. This right here violates state and federal law.
Oh no, he's gonna break the wall.
Oh,
He's gonna do it.
Everything you do is a goddamn crime. Just because you come and wave your finger at us doesn't make you the boss.
remember the time when Alex was in Portland? I think it was Portland, and he like ran after this guy.
Oh, there are so many memes on that. Let's see if we can find one of them.
Oh, we have to find that because that was Mike. Have you
Alex,
seen
I
it?
think it's called Alex Jones will hunt down the enemies of InfoWars.
No, I've never heard about what he did in Poland. The best meme that I can remember of Alex Jones, and anybody who says Alex Jones, the first thing I think of is they put a chemical in the water to turn the frogs gay.
Yeah,
That's the first thing I think of.
I think that kicked off his career. No, that didn't kick off his career. Alex Jones has said a lot of the same stuff before that. Let's go on YouTube for a
It
second.
definitely kicked off of a bigger career of him being a walking meme. Because I remember back in high school when we were at lunch class, you would always play that clip of him saying the frog's gay. Oh my god!
And the funny thing is, they really believe it. It's like these frogs out here, they're screwing each other. I swear to God, they're turning the male, and now they're just. Let's see if I can find the Alex Jones will hunt. Alex Jones will hunt down the enemy.
CNBC actually found like these disturbing and ridiculous conspiracy theories that Alex Jones pushed. Let's see some of them. What made the list? Let's put it this way. The government has weather weapons. He made this back in 2013.
Oh, I think I know this conspiracy. There's apparently like these satellites or like radio like wave things in Alaska, and they just like control the weather.
Huh.
Okay. I think it's called HARP.
Let's see another one. Chemicals in the water. Oh yeah, this one is
Yeah,
a
that
big
one's
one. Dude,
There it is.
the one and only. But apparently that's listed at number. It's not even in the top 3.
Robert Mueller is a demon and also a pedophile. Oh yeah, this one was
Yep, that
one
was the one
he
that
got in
we got
big
national
trouble.
attention for.
What, he said that?
Yep.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about this.
Why the frick
He had
have
an
I
interview
not
with
heard
Megyn
about
Kelly.
any of this?
This one was big.
The Sandy Hook shooting was staged. Who the hell would say something
Hillary
like that?
Clinton took a swipe at him. I think in 2016 when Trump like aligned himself with Alex, she like did this whole like big thing, and that's when the whole story resurfaced. And then Alex, I believe he got sued by a few of the parents of the school.
Yep.
And then he had to come out, and then he said at first he didn't know it was he clarified this on the Joe Rogan Experience, I believe last year, on last year's broadcast. He like came out and clarified that he believes that it's real now, but back in the day he was suspicious that it was actually real. Let's see the last one. Oh yeah, the last one was the big one too. Remember the whole
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate? Yeah, this one was big too. The Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, and a few news people, and I mean some other people in the in government in Washington were all running a pizza parlor, sex ring at it was called Comet Pizza. And I actually watched the documentary on this, and this was like really big because someone who watched InfoWars every day drove up from North Carolina with 2 guns. I believe it was 2 guns, and he went to DC, and he actually shot he actually fired a gun, and luckily he didn't hit anyone. He hit a clothing rack in this pizza place, and he believed that there were children downstairs because Alex was telling him all this stuff on his program. Yeah. Oh yeah, and remember this one with Marco Rubio?
He went after Marco. He apparently got like a press pass into where that Chamber of Commerce in the Congressional building. Yep.
Did he call him Little Marco just like Trump did?
He called him a frat boy.
Yeah, and, Marco.
Boy.
And Marco said, I actually don't know who you are. And then Alex goes, I'm sure you do. And Marco says, I've never met you before. And he's like, hey, don't touch me, bro. And then Marco's like, I'm just walking away. It was really funny. That was a really good that clip right there. I don't think we should play it.
I sent you the video of the meme of Alex Jones hunting down the enemy. It was originally from the video of him chasing down like someone threw coffee at him in Portland, and they just ran after him.
I remember.
There's a meme of that I sent you in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna go look at it right now.
And then we'll end Alex Jones there. I wish we had the footage I originally found in the serves, but anyway. But I think we clearly.
Hey, you want to see this one?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, here we go.
Coward, I know that I want to punch you in the nose. Don't beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch. You're an intellectual dumbass, and I'm coming. Coward, you're a tough guy. I hate you, coward.
Hate you.
Oh boy, that was that one. There it was.
There it is, kids.
And that's going to be his program commercial when he runs for president.
If he even,
I hope so.
If he even is eligible to.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean,
there's going to be a movement.
I mean, even if he was eligible and say like he did run for president, like for the Republican Party or ran as an independent, he wouldn't make it. No one would vote for him. Not a lot of voters, I will say.
I will say this. Listen, chat, as always. Alex has a very small peepee. I mean, you concur there. Wait, I remember that, man. Yeah, that's from years ago. So yeah, Alex Jones. We love him, but get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
Exactly. I double that.
All right. You want to go into COVID-19?
Yeah, let's go give COVID a go right here. This is just loading the New York Times interactive COVID dose. Actually, let's just go to COVID for a second. Let's just see how the COVID cases are rolling. Let's go to all in the United States right here, right now. So right now in the US, there are a total of 81,769 new cases and 956 deaths as of today. Currently, here are the states that are really not doing too great right now. New York today, 8,558 new cases with 77 new deaths. Texas today has seen 3,184 new cases with 105 deaths. And looking also at Michigan with 8,724 new cases and 31 deaths. Those are some of the states that are really seeing a surge right now. We have really lowered the curve, though. If you really look at it, January 8th, we had 300,669 cases that day. That was one of our biggest days. And since then, we have definitely dropped off a bit. We have gone up a tiny bit, but again, I think with more people getting the vaccine, it has been getting a lot better. Let's go over now to the New York Times. They've been doing flawless reporting on the vaccine rollout. So let's go check it out. So let's go see some of the states right here. They were averaging about 3 million doses a day. And as of April 9th, yesterday, they had 3,958,065 new doses. And the 7-day average is just around 3.3 million. Just around 3. Really? So,
wow.
It's been going pretty well. Although there are 559,000 deaths, it's been going pretty smoothly since we have been getting more distribution from vaccine companies like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna. And you can even see on here some of the different counties across the U.S. If you look here in Florida, Sumner County, Florida, they have 48% of residents have already been fully vaccinated, which is actually one of the highest across the U.S. In New York, Hamilton County, New York, 51% of all residents and 90% of ages 65 and older have already got the COVID vaccine. Going over here to Los Angeles, in Orange County, there have been only 19%. So it's been a lot slower in more urban areas. And if you go here into to Texas, Hill County, Texas, only 22%, only 48%, I'm sorry, of residents age 65 and older have had the vaccine. So if you look at it, there has been a big urban to rural. And I mean, for Georgia, New Mexico, South Dakota, Colorado, West Virginia, and Virginia, and Hawaii, we are not able to get the data. It probably will reflect the same. But I mean, this is important to talk about. I mean, we're all young people who run this program, but I wanted to see, I know that some of us already know people who got the vaccine, but this has been a big debate going on. When are you guys planning on getting it, or are you going to get it?
Well, I'll start with me. Well, I'm getting my first round tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, we could do a whole segment of like the struggles of like setting up vaccines, because I think it's hard to do it. It was originally hard to do when April 6th came around and then everyone was eligible for it. Sites like CVS, Walgreens, Vaccine Finder were hard to schedule an appointment for. Even like government sites like here in New York State, NewYork.gov, which usually provides vaccines to people who are off the state, it was all booked like the first day. But then as time goes on, you got to be persistent of how you schedule it. And I think the problem here, I read somewhere that the problem is since people are like constantly trying to like get vaccinated as soon as possible, they book dates, but whenever, and this is kind of the case for me, when you book a date, but then like one comes sooner, all of a sudden a lot of people forget to cancel their appointment. So that leaves a lot of like a lot of last minute changes. And even sometimes like people would like waste an appointment or it could be going to someone else.
True.
So for all of you people out there, make sure if you decide to schedule a vaccine appointment and then find one soon that's on a sooner date, make sure you cancel your vaccine appointment that you previously scheduled, because we want as many people vaccinated as possible for the summer. And I'm looking forward to the summer. I think in terms of the economy, I think we're going to see a huge boom because
agree.
people have more money now with stimulus checks going around. People are going to want to spend it. So for all your investors out there, I say go buy some stocks.
Yeah, I would agree too. I think that investing in oil, maybe investing in electric cars, I would say maybe not might not be a bad idea. That's like my go-to.
My big investment is for this year. I think it's going to be like credit card companies like Visa,
Okay.
Square is one that's been killing it for me. I recently got into investing, so if you want me to do a whole segment on that, I would gladly do that.
Okay.
It's all about the money here.
Donald, I said to you the day you went to college, I said, if I need somebody to do my taxes, you're the first person I'm calling.
Well,
yeah, when it comes to the vaccine, so my parents both got the vaccine a little over a week ago. They got the Moderna. So for me, I definitely know I am definitely going to get the vaccine sooner or later. I just haven't decided when because, college has just been crazy. I just finished midterm. So I just have a lot on my plate right now when it comes to for my personal life. But I think, honestly, I'm definitely going to get the Moderna one because I've been hearing a lot more better reviews on that one. I mean, even though all three of the vaccines are the same, which my friend Kevin, who is an EMT and he deals with COVID cases on a daily basis, he said to me, he's like, they're all basically the same, but from what I've heard and what I've been seeing, Moderna has definitely been making a better impact of helping you fight the virus better, just a little bit more than Pfizer and Johnson. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to get the vaccine. It'll probably be, I want to say, maybe in the summer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm also someone who's very skeptic because, like, when you look into how vaccines are, or just in general, medication is approved by the CDC, it could take up to, minimum is like 2 years. So for me, I kind of hold this like right now, I'm only thinking this is like the trial period, even though it has already been approved and everything. And for me, I'm kind of someone who's very skeptic about this. Although I do believe, I do believe this is probably going to be, I do believe in the vaccine and I am planning on getting it. I just don't know. It just feels a little too early for me to get it. I'm someone who likes to wait a little bit, see what's going on, and then get it just to be sure. So I'll probably get it later this year. I'm thinking maybe in the fall or maybe into the winter.
The thing is, colleges are now starting to require people to get vaccines for the fall semester if they want to come back.
My college just started. They actually have 500 vaccines, all Moderna, offering for the students because the cases at Marist have been skyrocket high. We're almost at 600. It's unbelievable. We've been on a campus pause for 3 weeks straight, and it's finally ending on Monday. So, yeah. And PJ, I definitely understand where you come from with that because at first I was super, super skeptical about getting the vaccine. But then after seeing my grandma and my parents getting it, and they're both perfectly fine, it helped me build more hopes and beliefs into the vaccine. It definitely has. So I can understand why you would want to get it later on. Yeah. Let it process more. Let the scientists, keep working on it. And maybe while they're working on it, maybe find something in there that they should take out because it might cause a lot more sickness or reactions, all of that stuff, So I totally understand.
I agree. Yeah. My grandparents did get the vaccine and they were both fine. However, I think they had Pfizer or maybe Moderna. I can't really think. But my uncle who works in a hospital, he got it and then he had a big reaction. His arm swelled up. He had a fever, like he was very sick. But those are the only 3 people I know who have got the vaccine in my immediate family. So I'm probably going to wait a little bit. I do believe in this. Like, I'm not someone who's an anti-vaxxer at all. I'm just someone who likes to be cautious, look at what goes on first, how people react to it, and then later, maybe when they have more research and more knowledge into why some people are reacting to it a certain way, I'd feel a lot more safer getting it.
Yeah, in terms of vaccines,
absolutely.
I think in terms of vaccines, obviously not everyone can get vaccinated. if you have like a certain if you have like certain reactions to a vaccine, a lot of even like a lot of times the stuff that they use to preserve the vaccine, I think they sometimes use like peanut residue, so people could have like a bad reaction to that. Some people can't actually have like a disability where they can't get the vaccine, and that's totally fine. I mean, doctors know this and admit this. Not everyone should get the vaccine if they're gonna have a negative reaction to it. But I think this is I think in terms of what we're seeing from our leadership, especially with Joe Biden, we're seeing a big push for people to get vaccinated. Obviously, there's going to be people like PJ who are going to be waiting on sort of how this plays out. But I think in terms of the amount of resources that have been put into finding a vaccine, I mean, this took us a record amount of time, and the fact that I got a CDC approval in that short amount of time is, I think this is a huge win to medicine. I think this shows our resilience as a country, despite how damaging this pandemic has been for our country, and sort of the divisiveness behind it, because this is a polarizing issue politically.
I agree. And it shouldn't be, pandemic. This is a global health issue. And I don't think there's any politics attached to this, but I mean, things always get politicized for a reason. I think we understand why. But I mean, yeah, this is a big time in the US, and I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a symbol of hope when 3 American companies, I don't know if Pfizer is American actually. I think they are.
I think they are.
Yeah, 3 companies, 3 medicine companies, were able to be approved by the CDC within basically, I think 9-10 months. They were all basically approved. I think Johnson and Johnson was like 11 months. But I mean, all 3 were able to, find this groundbreaking medicine, and here we are today.
Thank God for the technology that we have, because it definitely does play a big role of how that we're lucky enough that we have the scientists that were able. Not only do we have scientists that are extremely brilliant to come up with a vaccine in less than a year, but also with the technology we have. So thank God for both of those, because if that wasn't possible, the deaths would definitely be a lot more higher than they are now. And we probably wouldn't get a vaccine probably until like another year or 2. So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, if you are anti-vaxxer yourself, if you got this far into the video, please leave a comment down below to tell us why. I think it's a good dialogue to have. We were planning on doing a Jubilee reaction to vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers. I'm not sure we have time now, but I would definitely recommend checking out that video because I think it's pretty educational.
I think we could go over in a couple weeks anyways. I mean, on our agenda, we could always, do something like that, because Jubilee does a lot of cool video. Well, they do some good, some bad, but those types of videos, conservative versus liberal, that Vaxxer one is really good as well. I think it would really showcase, who's in the demographics of wanting to and not wanting to. And I wanted to bring up this little statistic I read actually earlier today. It said 40%, I think it was 40% of Navy SEALs or Marines, I don't know which one, are planning on not getting the vaccine. Yeah, I can look it up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised at that, but then again, 40% it seems like a really big number. I mean, generally, I think like policemen, military people, they tend to lean pretty right on the political spectrum, but I wouldn't picture it to be this bad.
Yeah, I saw it. It was in the news, I think, yesterday. It was a big headline though, regarding just vaccine doubts and things of that nature.
Yeah, see if you can find it. Maybe it'll be.
Try to pull it up. Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. Nearly 40% of Marines have declined the COVID-19 vaccine, prompting some Democrats to urge Biden to set mandate for military. This is from the USA Today. Others have covered it as well. Newsweek, I believe, has covered this story as well. And yeah, it goes into a little bit of detail here. I thought it was very interesting. I saw this, actually it came out today, this evening. And it said nearly 40% of US Marines who have been offered the vaccine have already declined it. Of the 123,500 Marines that were asked, that have been asked to have the vaccine, 75,500 are either fully vaccinated or with one dose or have declined it. And about 48,000 have declined it, which is actually a pretty big number. And it just goes into detail about what the Biden administration should do. Should they allow this to happen? Or should they just tell Marines, you know what, deal with it. We're going to have this mandate and you're going to have to get it.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear the justification behind why there's a big push. I mean, I've kind of understand the broader arguments for being anti-vax, but I don't know. I think it shows like the kind of the divide politically. I mean, this is, I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times. This is a political issue. And then obviously, if you look at demographics of how military people vote, I mean, this isn't really that surprising to me.
I think this past election, I think it was 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, something. I saw a statistic that had it around there. But I think most of the older veterans voted with Trump. I think it's the newer ones are more split. Don't forget, like the newer generation is a lot more left leaning, you know. Some are also, yeah,
and also politically divided. So also, yeah. But you were saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like some of them are either independent. I mean, there's a big independent, like a growing portion of independents now. So that's also a big thing as well. The electorate, a lot of them are independents too. And because they just don't want to be either a Republican or Democrat, so they just go with the independents. And we're also seeing that as well, which I think is a cool trend. I mean, it's just an interesting
I don't know.
trend. Independence. I mean, it's going to make elections a lot more contentious. I think that might be
not
good.
really, because I mean,
well,
last time we had like, I don't know, it might affect like smaller elections, but in terms of like broader like Senate,
well, it depends where you live too.
Yeah, it depends on where you live. Like, for example, we had Jesse Ventura as governor of Minnesota for back in the 2000s. I think, but in terms of like, I don't think we're ever going to see like a third party candidate win a presidential election. The closest we had to that was who was it? Yeah,
Jacques Perot or something. I forgot his name.
Ross Perot.
Back in the 90s, Ross Perot.
Ross Perot. He got like 19% of the popular vote, which is actually insane. But he had the money to fund it.
Yeah, Joe Jorgensen got 1% of the vote this time around. And you know what's kind of crazy? If you really look at like states like Georgia and Michigan, if Trump got like maybe 70% of those voters, like he would have won every state again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Think about like the 2000 election down in Florida. You had Ralph Nader there as well.
I remember that. That's kind of wild. All righty. Let's go step now. We're speaking of Florida. Let's go over to the Matt Gaetz situation. So last week we brought to you some of the issues going on with Matt Gaetz. A lot of you know the allegations against Matt Gaetz. He's facing sex trafficking allegations. There's also been talks that he illicit drug use. This is by Al Jazeera. So specifically, Matt Gaetz is a Florida representative. He is 38 years old and he is a Republican. He's been a big Trump supporter and loyalist to the president, former president. And this has really sparked a lot of talks. There have been stories that he's been showing fellow congressmen and women some pictures of women that he slept with. There's also been some talks about him having a relationship with a 17-year-old minor. So this week, actually, this is just breaking this week, the House of Representatives Committee on Ethics said in a statement on Friday that Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. So they're really looking into this right here. And also Matt Gaetz has hired 2 lawyers, two civil servants to help him out in this case because it looks like he might be facing jail time. In this case, he has two prominent lawyers, and it goes into detail who they are. Pull it up.
Yeah, I saw an interview of one of them.
Mark Mukasey, and I forgot the other person's name. And Isabel Kirshner. Those are the two who well, she's a critic of Trump though, which is a little strange.
Yeah, I remember seeing an interview from this
She's a former Manhattan assistant district attorney who represented former New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman for sexual allegations as well. So yeah, it looks like he has two pretty prominent lawyers behind him, but the whole thing is regarding the illicit drug use and the sex trafficking investigation, which is still ongoing. But yeah,
I feel like every year we hear about a governor or a representative getting caught in sexual allegations. Like first this year, we heard about New York Governor Andrew Cuomo facing I think 6 or 7 different sexual allegations, and then Ralph Northman balked at resigning in 2019, the Democratic Virginia governor. So I just feel like every year, every other year, we're hearing something about this.
Yeah, Ralph. Yeah, you know what's kind of crazy though with Ralph Northam too? He also had the whole blackface incident as well. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. I actually wrote something about that in my TV theory class this semester.
Yeah, that was a big story because I think it was at a frat party or something. Something happened in college with him. And then also it was around that time he spoke about infanticide. I don't know if you remember that as well.
I don't remember that part, but
so the whole Virginia issue with infanticide, he basically said it. This was on a couple of networks that he also got in trouble for, but it was around that same time. It was the blackface, which really got people angry. And then I think there was a few others because in college that semester, we were doing, that was the big story one day. And then the next day was another racial story as well. But I just remember we were discussing this one story, the blackface story with Governor Northam. And everyone was just speaking about how this was a photo that resurfaced of him back in college, and how he was getting a lot of people angry with him. I just remember that was a big story as well, but I didn't really remember his allegations.
What was the discussion like? If you want to go into that.
Oh yeah, this was a intercultural communication class, and everyone was just speaking about how they were talking about how you should really be aware of what you post online. I mean, this was not posted online though. This was from years ago, but it showed how we were talking about how the South. I mean, I'm not from the South. We're not from the South, but how they were talking about how the South in Virginia, I don't know, they're below the Mason-Dixon, but they were talking about how this is still relevant today, and how in the South in the past, this was probably more common. But again, everyone was really just felt really not happy with this.
Taking it back.
Uh-huh.
But we'll get back to Gaetz here. Now you already heard our sort of general thoughts on it last week. We think something's up with Gaetz. If you go into his Twitter posts, there's a lot of posts with him with minors. Not sexually, but I mean
just young kids.
Young kids. He'll go to a middle school event in Florida somewhere, and then he'll take pictures.
Yeah, he's a very strange guy, and I think he has a son, but it's really weird. He has custody of a boy from Cuba. I do know this. Yes, because during last year, I don't know what trial it was, but I think it was right after George Floyd. I want to say it was in June, and there was a whole discussion with Matt Gaetz and Cedric. I forgot Representative Cedric something. He now works for the Biden administration. He's from he represented I want to say the New Orleans district for the House of Representatives. And there was a big bickering back and forth between them two. And Matt Gaetz said, well, look, my son, I mean, I think he said like my family, and he was referring to his boy, how he's like looks different than him. He said something like this. This was during like the whole racial protests were going on. And he was talking about this. And he actually has a son, I believe. And they interviewed him on Fox News in the summertime. And the boy, I believe, is like 16, 17 years old. So like Matt doesn't, I don't think he has a girlfriend or anything like that. I mean, I don't really look into this stuff, but I know for a fact he has a boy, or at least he's like a mentor to him, something like that along those lines.
Right. Like a fatherly figure.
Yeah, he's like 38 and the boy is like 17 or 16 in the teen years.
Well, Mike, I want to get your perspective on it because I think you offer, I mean, this could be, we could be going on the same narrative here, but I want to get your general thoughts on this.
I think honestly, how I look at it is the way that Steve Jacobson, a registered Republican who lives in the nearby town of Crestview, I think basically how I look at this is he's showing sexual pictures on his phone as a congressman. If a kid does that in high school, they get expelled. But if a guy does that on the floor of Congress, that's okay. I think honestly, the best way I think I would put the best in short words of how to describe Gaetz is the way how Steve Jacobson says he makes a big scene but doesn't do a lot. It's all about him to gain press for himself and not helping people around here. I think that's how I think I would describe him, because I don't know much about Gaetz, but basically how it's sounding, he's just sounding like a complete dirtbag.
Yeah. I think it just shows like the character of it just shows the character of people in general. I mean, Republican or Democrat or independent, I mean, your character matters, and for Gaetz to allegedly do this, he hasn't been indicted yet, but to have allegations this serious, it shows he doesn't really have a character. It shows that he's immoral. It shows that he's someone who is unethical. Shows that he has some monstrous type character to him. And I mean, with Cuomo as well and Harvey Weinstein, and we can go into detail with not just politicians, but actors and people of that nature as well. It just shows their character. It matters. People care about it. They don't just care about the decisions and the policies that they want to have passed. They also care about who's representing me. Is it going to be someone who's a pedophile, or is it going to be someone who's a knowledgeable, likable, respectable, someone who has a lot of dignity, someone who takes ethics seriously, all these different things. Is that who my representative is going to be? Are they going to be someone who is someone I look up to, or someone that I think is scum? And, in this case, Gaetz is looking like the latter.
It's actually funny how you said that, because I was actually just doing a little research, and I actually found a little something of the New York Post of what they posted on with Matt Gaetz, and it actually says top Republicans have been conspicuous in failing to speak out in their colleagues' defense. The Floridian's attention-grabbing style has been antagonized in both parties, further suggesting that though his congressional seat is likely safe, he's unlikely to accomplish much, even with his own party, outside of Trump's shadow. It literally says that word for word on here.
Yeah, I think the only person that defended Gaetz here was Marjorie Taylor Greene, which we all know who she is. She's one of the most controversial congresswomen or Congress people on Capitol Hill right now.
Yeah. And you know what's kind of crazy too? Remember how Tucker Carlson had him on like 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
Like Tucker even did not understand what Matt was saying.
Yeah, he was like, I remember like I was at dinner with you, and then like I brought my girlfriend with me, and then it's like you remember, and then Tucker like cuts away, and it's like I don't remember that.
No, yeah, that's what he said. So like people aren't really believing him, and it just shows you like how these like actions. It just shows you how society views these things, and I mean what Mike just brought up with how people in Congress, a part of the Republican Party, they don't even like him. So it really shows you how ineffective he is.
I think also too. I think as well. I think not only is he getting, he's getting, I'm trying to think of the right word. He's getting more attacked more than Cuomo did, because I think, yeah, it might be because it might be because of a political thing because of his party, but also too, he literally showed pictures to Congress, to other Congress workers. It's like you're basically asking yourself to be put in jail and wear orange for the rest of your life. Like, what made you think, what gave you the audacity to think, oh, me showing some pictures is a pretty good idea? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that is something that is clearly a violation. And it just shows like he doesn't think. Yeah, that is not a good story, and we'll keep you all updated.
Yeah,
Big
I'm sure
Don.
there'll be more coming up soon.
Does Big Don or Mike, do you have any closing statements on this matter with Representative Matt Gaetz?
There's something up with this man. I swear. I think with the way he articulates things, I think the Tucker interview says it all. I think lack of people are defending him on this. I mean, Republicans have really come out and said, like, there's like a lot of false rape allegations. You can look back at like Donald Trump and like Brett Kavanaugh, but no one is defending Gaetz here. Like, no one is. So I think this guy's in pretty hot water, and we'll see what the evidence comes out with. But I think what's out there and the doubt that's there. I mean, watching some of the interviews with one of his lawyers, he even looked pretty doubtful about like the whole case.
Yeah, honestly, just to conclude all this, it's just kind of like what I said before. So many politicians have been caught for different sexual allegations. Going back with former President Clinton, survived to be impeached during the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal. So I think honestly, when it comes to Gaetz, he may or may not, get out of this, because some politicians, they get the consequences and they don't. But because he was showing pictures, and there are definitely more witnesses to confirm that, which is what New York Post did confirm. He's excuse my language, he's in really deep shit. So with him being a moron and everything, I think honestly, he definitely has much more of a chance of like being kicked out of politics and being put behind bars, I think, more than Cuomo, I would say, by like 5%.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair too.
Should we turn to another court case that's going on right now?
What should we turn it to? Oh yeah, the George Floyd case.
George Floyd.
Yes, let's go give a quick update on that.
You want to talk about Crowder with this one?
Yeah. So Stephen Crowder.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I definitely want to talk about this, yes, but I know soon. I want to say in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I got to get going and get back to studying for a big exam that's coming up for me on Wednesday.
All right,
okay,
we'll give
no
a
problem.
quick overview.
We'll do a quick overview of what's
this.
going on.
This the only thing I could say is, I think honest, I don't remember or saw much about what's been going on with the case. So, but you guys want to fill me in a little bit, because I don't want to say something if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure.
So
you have the New York. So PJ, you want to go off the New York Times article that was here?
Yes, this one actually just they actually locked it for some reason.
Damn.
But I've only seen a little bit of what's going on. This case has been going on for the past couple weeks now. I think 2-3 weeks it's been in session for. And a lot of it has been, they've been just bringing a lot of I've only seen some clips. I have not watched it fully yet, but there have only been some clips of, they've been bringing in police officials, people from the Minneapolis Police Department, who've been talking about specifically some of the ways of dealing and apprehending criminals in custody. They've been talking a lot about that. They've been talking about how Officer Chauvin did not act in protocol, so therefore he was not acting appropriately with the whole knee on the neck. So it's been they've been speaking basically on that this week. Um, and also like since the courtroom is not really filled, it's kind of like just a live stream. I've been watching some of the live streams of that, but yeah, it hasn't really been. I mean, I've only watched a little bit of it, but I mean, I don't know when this case is going to end. Um, it looks like, I mean, I'm biased, but I mean, I think it should be murder one, but that's just my.
No, I agree with you.
I agree with that.
I
I
agree.
think there's a doctor who recently testified, and I think he documented how long
Was this it?
like Chauvin's knee was on his neck. Yep, medical exam. And then he was like, and even after he stopped breathing, which is like, Chauvin kept his knee on Floyd's neck for additional like three and a half minutes.
Mhm.
And there was recently some controversy. Now we talked about Crowder last week for him getting demonetized, but recently he's been back on YouTube, and he made this video about him trying to disprove the George Floyd trial case by
Yeah.
replicating the knee on the neck.
Mhm.
Now, I won't do a whole reaction video to this, but I think if you watched it, good. I think you can clearly see that that there wasn't really a lot of like pressure. I think it wasn't really an analogous example because I mean, judging by like, if you want to get rid of, there was a picture that was brought up there. If you look at like the position of the knees on the neck, it doesn't really seem like Steven Crowder's getting that much pressure.
I watched a little bit of it actually because I saw it on there. I just saw it and I heard that there was some talk on Twitter about what he did, so I wanted to watch it just a little bit and see what he was doing. Yeah, they were doing like an experiment to see how 9 minutes of a knee on your neck, how that would affect you. And basically, like they were kind of I don't know, they were going back and forth of having the person who was kneeing on, like it wasn't even kneeing on. I mean, in the Crowder case, the Crowder like example, they were just kneeing his shoulder. They weren't really going full like, going
Like cutting off
dangerous.
the windpipe.
Yeah, and they were just doing that. I don't know why they did that. I really didn't. I thought that was a little disrespectful, and honestly, I think it was stupid on Steven Crowder's part. Yeah, there's been some tweets about this, and regarding this, how they were like, there's a lot of people on Twitter just getting livid with him about this. Yeah, it's not a good look for him after last week's whole Sesame Street little.
Yeah, Sesame Street, and then him making fun of
Street.
black farmers.
Yeah, and now this, it's not looking good for Steven Crowder. I think it might be still on YouTube. I'm not too sure, but I mean, that was Wednesday night, so I'm thinking it probably got censored, or if it's up, it's probably age restricted.
Yeah, either way, Crowder's not making money off that video.
Not at all, not at all. Yeah, I don't think it was a good look for Steven Crowder. Honestly, I think it was really stupid that he did it.
Yeah, I mean, the case is like even if Floyd died of like, what was he on? What drug was he on? Fentanyl. If he died of a fentanyl overdose, Chavez would still be responsible. I mean, that's equivalent to like someone being intensely drunk and then someone like, and then another person like punching that person in the face, and now they're dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be kind of the equivalent. Even though you were under the influence,
yeah.
You're still basically the person who like killed you or caused harm that eventually led you to die, would be held accountable in most cases. And I think that's one of like the whole debates right here was George Floyd on enough fentanyl that he overdosed, or is this considered a death? And I think they also asked a paramedic I saw in the case, and they said when they first saw him, they didn't know if he was alive or not, because they said he was like on the ground and he was unresponsive, I believe. So they had a paramedic also speak, and I think they also had some bystanders speak who were like watching it and recording it. They asked a couple people, and they were all very they just show that they wish that they could have done something.
Yeah. I will read a comment here. Someone submitted a comment for us. Benji332211 said, nothing has been a good look for Crowder due to a failed comedian who thinks he's a political expert. I think he just summed it up right there.
That is actually
that's a really accurate statement.
He summed it up perfectly right there.
No, I think this is. I mean, if you look at Crowder's history, he was an actor at one point. I think he was trying to get into comedy, but he never comes off as a comedian. I mean, his political comment, like his comedic chops, are just like very utter stabs. Like I was even arguing this. I was checking out some posts online when he was making the racist bit. Like people that were defending him were saying "Oh, it's just a joke." But seriously, what the hell?
I agree.
Like those comments are uncalled for, and I think under YouTube TOS, I think there's more than enough. I think that's kind of evidence of why he was demonetized in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, a lot of his jokes are ill. They're not even that good, to be honest with you, and they're not even funny, And they're he made one with RBG, and he had a skeleton once she passed away. It was the day after. He's like, RBG, you want to say something on his little podcast thing, and everyone was, you're so funny. They were doing all that stuff, and yeah, it's not a good look for him, and I do agree with Benji there. They definitely summed it up perfectly.
Perfect. I think he's doing another change my mind about voter ID laws coming soon.
Yeah, he's doing a couple.
I absolutely hate the concepts of Crowder doing change my mind, because he showed up to random college campuses. He has all the notes prepared. He has all his talking points memorized, and he's debating college freshmen. If Crowder would have just manned up and debated Sam Cedar, like everyone has been requesting, I would look at him differently. But no.
Yeah, that is not a good look by any means. And I mean, yeah, they had those change my mind things are kind of for Crowder to just flex on people. It's kind of like how Ben Shapiro goes to places and just craps on people.
He owns the libs.
He owns the liberals. It shows how bad Crowder is as a debater, and that's just what it is. It just shows how bad he is as a debater. So he just goes after people who might feel triggered by what he has on his poster, and then he has all the stats to back it up, make them look bad, post it to his audience, and then, oh, Stephen is a legend. He's an expert. Yeah.
He's the biggest conservative YouTuber.
Yeah, the Hodge twins are huge.
I think Steven has the most subscribers for any conservative influencer. I know Fox News has a lot of subscribers, but they're a news organization, so
yeah, they would have the most. But yeah, he definitely has a big outreach on YouTube.
But yeah, in terms of this video, obviously Crowder wants to make it seem like it's an actual experiment, but if you look at the actual video, it's just him. It's just one guy giving Crowder a neck massage, pretty much.
Yeah, it's stupid and pointless to me.
Mike, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna present this kind of liveness, which is what's it called? Hang on, I got it on me. I just lost it. If you're gonna be simultaneous, oh my god, I apologize.
Authenticity.
Yes, simultaneous with events on the screen, which means being able to watch the live news, but also preserve it. If you're actually going to present what the effects do on what it does, if you put your knee on somebody's neck, do it right. Don't put up any BS.
Well, they can't do it right because people will get choked out.
Yeah. So you can't. There's nothing else to say to that. That's why I said sarcastically. I meant to say, you can't say, "Oh, just putting your neck on someone's neck is just going to cause this or that." You're going to kill them. You may as well just fucking punch. I'm sorry for cursing. You may as well just freaking kick them in the throat and put your foot on their throat while they're on the ground.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's I know we didn't really get into the actual case because we were more going after Crowder, but that was a big event that was popping off on Twitter.
Yes, it was big this week. And yeah, it puts Crowder again in hot water. I'm sure YouTube is going to take action against this video if they haven't already did. And yeah, it's not looking good for him. And really, it's not looking good for his brand either. Alrighty, so it has been a pretty long podcast for today, a live stream, I should say. We've been on for the past hour and about 25 minutes. Do you guys want to add anything before we start wrapping it up?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot there. There's some issues I still want to get to. I think the Arkansas bill, the recent Arkansas trans bill, I think that's going to be a big issue we're going to be talking about next week. We'll see how the news unravels this week, but a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah,
we're
also,
in the kind of thick of it.
Yeah, also a big event that we can just briefly talk about for like maybe 20-30 seconds is the Bessemer, Alabama union that actually failed. There was a big unionization attempt. It started during around the COVID time because for a number of different reasons, people said workers in the Amazon Bessemer plant were claiming that they were not getting any bathroom breaks, short lunch times, short lunch periods, and everything like that. However, Amazon, they had the vote after about 2 weeks, I believe. It started around late March. I think it was like the final week in March. And they just found out last week, or actually a couple of days ago, who won, and the unionization, pro-unionization lost. So that was a big story as well, with Amazon having another big win. That is a big story. We're going to probably cover a lot more of the happenings. We're going to talk about the Arkansas bill next week, and also anything else that goes on. We're going to keep you updated with the Gaetz story, and anything else, let us know. Drop a DM on Instagram and on Twitter. Here's our little Instagram real quick. You can always follow us. We do a lot of great stories now. Oh, also go check out our recent video. It's of GeoGuessr. We have had two GeoGuessr US editions. You can go check it out on there. Check out our Instagram. You can always stay updated that way with us, and on Twitter as well. We always keep you updated on Twitter as well. You can go follow us. Peace and Chaos P1. Peace.
You want to play the story that I had up on Instagram?
Oh yeah, let's go play the story. Here it is. Oh, can't.
Oh, you gotta log in. It was a video of Alex Jones. So if you want to check out the meme I've made of Alex Jones, check it out on Instagram. It's a good laugh. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter. Mike, if you want to advertise any of your socials, please do.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't need to advertise anything, but I just want to say thank you guys for having me on here. It's been a great discussion. But all I gotta say, like anybody would, is I pray and hope that with these trials that's going on with George Floyd, that the family finally gets some justice.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Because I'm not going to get into this, but I personally know what it feels like having somebody in your family actually killed and taken away from you. So that's all I can say. I just pray and hope that the Floyd family gets the justice they deserve. And thank you guys again for having me on here.
Thank you very much, Mike, for coming.
It's been awesome.
All right. BJ, want to close it out?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, again for sticking around with us tonight. We've had a lot of great interactions with people in the comments. We always enjoy that. And just to make sure, always stay updated with us. We have a live stream every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Time only on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter to stay up to date with the latest. I hope you're all doing well, having a safe weekend, and enjoying it. I'm DJ Aceman with Big Don and Mike. Have a good week. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.